Okay, so this is going to be Ascension Series video number 4. If you haven't seen the first three, please pause here and go back and look at it because it really leads up. It's in an order of succession. You can obviously watch it standalone. It's got good content for you anyway, but I don't want you to miss out. Now, today is going to be more of a true story type reflection because I don't ever really speak about anything that I have not lived on personally. And I use myself as the example all the time. What better example to use than your own journey, right? So, this is about ascension versus dissociation and how to tell the difference. Because you get to a place in the process where you have detached from the wounding and the trauma, but you've also stayed stuck in a space where you're not receiving energy. And that's what this is about. So when I lived my matrix life, I worked as a critical care nurse for many, many years, either in emergency room or ICU. And that in itself, if you live that life, you know what I'm talking about. You can't be a big, open hearted empath all the time. It doesn't mean you don't feel and it doesn't mean you don't care, but you just can't function effectively in those environments if you're breaking down and feeling everybody's toxic emotions and trauma all the time. So, as a self preservation mechanism, we learn to compartmentalize those feelings. Over time, there is a fallout from that. You compound that now with personal trauma, relationship trauma, heartache, heartbreak, the collective trauma, the things that we see that we feel helpless about. And fast forward decades for most of us before we realize what has actually happened. We no longer feel. We no longer feel genuine love. We no longer feel true empathy for a situation because it's detrimental to our success, right? That's not how we were meant to be, though. So there were many times as I walked through my professional, personal, family, public spaces, people would often say, "You're so courageous. You're so brave. I can't believe you can put one foot in front of the other." And every time I heard them, but it didn't register what I was giving up to be able to do that. And it was a conscious choice in the beginning, and then it became a habit. And that is what you call a non serving way, a non serving habit, a habit that you develop that does not serve your highest and best good. As a human being, we are meant to feel and heal from the feeling and process it and then let it go. That's not what we're taught. That's not what is recommended to us whenever we are becoming professionals. That's certainly not recommended in most workplaces. And so it sets up a very cold and disassociated way of living. I remained that way for a very long time. And I didn't really have any fear, but it did leave a residue of like an underlying residue of anxiety. I was not an anxious person, but it left this feeling of what's going to happen next because I had been bracing my entire life for these events. You know, when you are on the front lines, you have to brace because you know the attacks are coming. So I was on the front lines in a professional capacity. I was on the front lines in my personal life. It was never ending. And some of that was by choice. Some of that was because I believed I was untouchable. But it all has a cumulative effect. And so that is what today's video is about. Over many, many lifetimes, but definitely this one, I had lots of time that I could have invested in feeling something, but I didn't want to go there. And it was really a matter of if I do this, if I truly let myself feel, what is the tidal wave of emotion that's going to come with it? You know, like I just kept barring the door. I just kept putting another brace up against that door because I didn't want to let that flow of emotion that I had been locked away for a very, very long time to flow free. But that is what I needed to heal. So as I really started to become very, very focused, and I mean like every single day of my life, I left nursing, and every single day of my life since September of 2022, I have been working on my spiritual path. And that began with doing YouTube videos and one-on-one guidance and clearing and things like that. Now it's morphed over time. I do some different things, still always following my guidance, but not anything to do with the profession of nursing. But what that did was about a year into it, about a year into that process of spirituality being my number one focus 24/7, 365, I spoke the truth to a friend of mine, one of my soul sisters. And I said, I don't feel love. When someone says, I love you, my mind clocks it as truth. And I reciprocate love cerebrally, but I don't feel love. And it's because over my lifetime, I compartmentalized my heart and I built walls up, and I liked the safety of not having my heart broke. But the byproduct of that is that I was never fully present in a relationship. And that was the aha, because many times for me, I would blame others for not being present in the relationship, but I played a role in that too. So when I said the words to my soul sister, she's clairvoyant and clairaudient, and she said, they're coming to you. And she meant the Sophia Dragon Tribe. The Sophia Dragon Tribe, if you don't know, it's Mother Sophia's order of Ascendant Master Divine Feminine that comprise the Sophia Dragon Tribe. And you can read all about them in the Sophia Code written by Kaya Ra. So this is who showed up for me in that moment. Mother Sophia, Magdalene, Hathor, Mother Mary, Isis, Green Tara, Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Calf Woman. Now, I was getting dressed out of the bathtub and I started to cry. And because I could feel this raw, completely encompassing love that I had never felt in this lifetime before. And I thought, shit, I gotta get dressed and get to my room because I'm going to collapse. I can't even stand this. The love that was flowing through me was, I had the ugly cry going, and it was profound. So I got to my room, I laid down, and they formed a semicircle around me. And Mother Mary said, do you feel that? And I said, I feel so much love, just infinite, pure love. I'm so grateful. And they said, get ready. And every one of them poured, oh gosh, my head's so tingly right now. They poured love through me, through my chakra tube. And it was looping. If you can imagine, it was looping energy from all of these powerful divine feminines of love. And it was like this power hose of loving energy flowing through me, knocking down those walls, just completely destroying them. Because the walls were always built because loving and feeling love in this life and many, many others led to me being hurt or me losing them, being separated. So they just plowed through that and they said, no, we're going to show you that you are truly, completely loved. You are worthy of love. You deserve love. And they kept this on, like this was on a loop for about 30 minutes. Whenever that profound recalibration took place and they gave me exactly what I deserved, which was love, the flow of love. I realized in that moment that, yeah, I felt it, but it also showed me what I had not been feeling. When you truly let yourself feel, it opens the door to healing because you see what you've been running from. And for me, that's whenever I got a lot of energetic download and confirmation of my next phase of my path and the next level that I would aspire to. And it all was hinged upon me feeling, receiving, allowing, and sending out pure divine love. Up until that moment, I honestly can tell you that cognitively, I sent people love, but it never came from a true source because you have to truly love yourself. And that energy has to be able to flow for you to truly love anyone else. So if this is hitting you in the chest, sit with it. Don't be afraid to feel. I say now, feeling is healing, and lean into that heartache and go back there just enough to see where you shut down, where you turn the switch off. And you decided feeling costs me too much. So I'm not going to feel anymore. And that's whenever you go back and you forgive yourself. You forgive yourself for not loving yourself enough to continue feeling love. Because at the end of the day, even if we're the only ones that love ourselves, we have to do it authentically. We have to do it completely. And it is that love that should fill our cup so much that it overflows into the collective. Leave me a comment if you feel like this hit you. And I'll see you in episode 5.